I want to jump into this because we were talking on in the inbox on Instagram, and there was a post from Black millionaires that said they're saying that the average millennial is spending $252 on a date. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's great. So I kind of thought about that a little bit, and for me, one is inflation's crazy, right? So data is expensive, but I think I focus on the mindset piece and what people try to do, and often you'll see where people will try to spend money to cover up any insecurities they have, right? And don't have those honest conversations in dating to begin with. The first date, you should be talking about your finances. And I don't mean you gotta, say grandmama owes me $1,000 and my dad didn't do anything. I'm not saying that, but having those conversations sets the tone early for any type of relationship. And so when I hear that $252, what are you trying to buy? Who are you trying to impress? And not only like what are you trying to buy, who are you trying to impress? I can almost guarantee you don't budget, right? And so it sets the tone in a relationship that I am going to somehow buy this approval or spend the money to show you who I am. I recommend, as a financial guy, the first date, go on a walk. You know what I mean? Get some coffee, grab some tea, because you're setting that stage very early. And I'm pretty sure with that $252, I doubt that the dating experience is any more successful than if somebody just gets a cup of coffee. Right. So
Mm,
that's that mindset piece that I think people should focus on when it comes to dating is say, hey, let's set the tone early that money is not going to define our relationship. That's my thought on that. And then where are you going? You're not going to the Cheesecake Factory for sure. So, you're not doing that.
oh my God. Yeah. I
So,
love that. No, that's good, man, because there was a lady I was talking to the other day, and she was saying how she went on a date with this guy, and he was just trying to impress her with all these different things. And she was like, look, I know you trying to do the most. She was like, I'm just trying to get to know you. You don't have to try to impress me with all this. She was like, because it really doesn't impress me. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, that's grown woman talk right there. You know what I'm saying? She was like, save your money. It ain't even that serious. Let's let us get to know each other, opposed to you trying to do something that you really can't afford. You trying to set the stage for something that you can't maintain.
right. And so that's the key right there is like, can you maintain that standard that you're putting out there? And that's not just for dating. That's in life when whether you're getting a home, buying a car, whatever you're doing, the goal is for you to be consistent. And so I think when you set the stage of like, I'm going to impress on this first date with, the lavish date, like what does that look like year 3, year 4, even of marriage, right? And we got real life issues coming up, kids, mortgage, whatever that looks like. And you set the stage that no matter what, I'm going to do this thing. And realistically, it's probably not in your budget.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I wanted to ask too, because you talked about dating. So, how should someone approach dating and finances after divorce? Does that apply the same way, or does that look different?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I've coached clients that went through a divorce. And transparency, recently, I went through a divorce, and so I think it's a shock to a system, right? It's no matter if you had money, if you don't have money, when you get divorced, there is a shock that happens, right? And there's a recovery period of time. And so I think in that recovery, there is that transparency that needs to happen, right? Let's say you were married for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, or a year. When you enter a new relationship, I think it's important to talk about the finances to start, right? You say, hey, I've been married before. We've done this before. Let's have open conversation from the beginning, because what is one of the number one reasons for divorce? Finances, right? So if
Yeah.
you have that conversation post divorce with the new relationship, I think it sets the tone for us to be able to have that conversation in a detailed manner, and slow down. Like when I say slow down, I mean the pace of a new relationship. There's probably studies out there. You know more than me whether how fast you should go, how slow you go. You have experts on this show all the time, on the channel all the time. But like for me, it's like it's no rush to spend money. It's just not, because ultimately that's not going to make or break your relationship. Whether you wine and dine or get to know the person, so including their financial habits, which you can see very early on in the dating stage if you open your eyes a little bit, for sure.
That's good.